we are done with two major units, cell biology and plant physiology, and today we are going to start with living world and biological classification. Living world, that is diversity of life forms, wherein from this chapter we hardly get a single question, but in 2025 paper if you see, you can see 1 to 2 questions from living world. Okay. What are the concepts that you have to cover from this? First is what are characteristic and defining features of living, followed by classification of living organisms. You have to know the clear differentiation between what is classification, what is taxonomy, what is systematics. Okay. There is a huge difference between these terms. Okay. Classification, taxonomy and systematics. Have to go through binomial nomenclature, followed by taxonomy, taxonomic categories, table, taxonomic categories involved in the kingdom Animalia, involved in kingdom Plantae. Till here only up to NEET people. Okay. If MCET also should be covered from this chapter, you have to look into the concept, that is taxonomic aids. We will cover the chapter whole and soul for NEET and MCET. Okay. So, first when we have to look into characteristic and defining features of living. Okay. What are known as characteristic features and what do you address as defining features? Character features are those which are not present in all living organisms, they also occur in non-living objects. For example, growth. Growth you consider it as a characteristic feature of living. Why? Because how do you consider growth? As increase in mass or increase in number of cells. If increase in mass, all living organism does not have that characteristic, that does not have that feature. So, then reproduction is also a characteristic feature of living. Then if you consider metabolism, what is metabolism? Anabolism and catabolism together addressed as metabolism. In simple terms, sum of total chemical reactions occur inside a living cell. Okay. If at all in the laboratory you are performing any chemical reaction, that is addressed as living reaction, but not living cell. Okay. And then cellular organization is completely a defining feature, be it from unicellular organism to multicellular organisms, all the organisms will have cellular organization. Okay. Means a single cell group up to form a tissue. Okay. The property of a tissue is defined by the interactions that are present between the cells in that tissue. The property of an organ is defined by interactions of the tissues that are present in the organ. That is cellular organization you will observe in all the living organisms. So, this is a defining feature. Consciousness, that is response to the external stimuli. Okay. All living organism will respond to the external stimuli, be it prokaryotes or eukaryotes. Even bacteria will show the movement which is known as taxis, chemotaxis movement. Okay. That it moves away from the danger, close to the food. Okay. So, consciousness is again a defining feature. Above all, there is one more feature which is known as self-consciousness. Okay. Self-consciousness only inferred to what? Human beings, knowing about the self. Okay. So, yes, these are all the characteristics of living organism. Among this, what are the characteristic features, ma? Growth and reproduction are characteristic features. Okay. Metabolism, consciousness and cellular organization are what? Defining features. Once if we have to recall about growth, growth we have learnt yesterday, increase in mass or increase in number of cells. Growth can happen in two ways. One is extrinsic growth and next is intrinsic growth. Intrinsic growth in non-living organisms, intrinsic growth in unicellular organisms, intrinsic growth in multicellular organisms. Amongst these two growth, you tell me Where do you see reversible growth? Where do you see irreversible growth? Unicellular organisms, growth is intrinsic growth is irreversible, which is permanent irreversible increase in size or weight or number of cells of an organism, whereas extrinsic growth is reversible. Okay. In intrinsic growth, again, in unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive, which is also known as synonymous. Growth and reproduction are synonymous to each other. Whereas in multicellular organisms, if you see in Plantae and Animalia, plants will have definite growth or indefinite growth? Indefinite growth. Indeterminate or determinate? Indeterminate growth. That is because of what meristems beta? Secondary meristems, which can be vascular cambium or corpuscambium. Right. So, that is the multicellular organism. One is Plantae growth, which is an irreversible permanent increase in size, which is continuous throughout its lifetime. Next is Animalia, which is definite or determinate growth. Definite or determinate growth. And here if you see in multicellular organism, growth and reproduction are not synonymous. To attain the reproductive phase, the organism have to complete the juvenile phase. This is the framework that you have to be clear with if you have to attend all the statement based questions. You have to know first two types of growth, then unicellular, multicellular. In multicellular, again the growth in Plantae and in Animalia. Clear everybody? Yes, right? Yeah. So, here once you look into the theory also, ma. Growth is increase in size, mass, height of an organism. This occurs by cell division. Animals grow up to certain age, which is known as definite or determinate growth. In the later years, there is only replacement or repair of the worn out cells. That is how, right, any repair or worn out cells are there, any wounds occur, the somatic cells will divide again. But that is regeneration or replacement of the cells, but not growth. So, this is termed as what? Definite. Plants on the other hand will grow throughout the life. This is known as indefinite. An example is given, the great banyan tree in J.C. Bose Indian Botanical Garden, which is in West Bengal, is of how many years? 250 years old, and it has spread how many acres? 14,500 meters square. This is important. Statement not from the NCERT but your Telugu Academy. Can expect a statement for EAPCET. Done, ma? Just take down this one statement, enough. This is already given in the chart which I have provided. Done? And then in unicellular organism, growth and reproduction are synonymous or mutually inclusive. Mutually exclusive and non-synonymous in the plants and animals like multicellular organisms. Living organisms grow due to addition from inside. So, it is called as intrinsic growth. Extrinsic occur in non-living things. Examples you take down. Sand dunes, glaciers are good examples of extrinsic growth. You are clear on the note now why growth is known as characteristic feature of living? Just take down these two examples for extrinsic growth, that is it. Next, reproduction. We have different types of reproduction based on how many gametes, parents are involved, whether fusion of gametes are involved or not. As such, we have two types. One is Asexual reproduction, which is uniparental. Sexual reproduction, which is biparental. Okay. In simple terms, what is reproduction? Production of new individuals. Okay. New individual organisms or offsprings from their parents. This is not essential for survival of an individual, but essential for the survival of species. Okay. Asexual reproduction doesn't involve fusion. This involves fusion of gametes. Offsprings are same like that of parents. Here offsprings are genetically variable. Okay. From your NCERT or your academy, you have to be clear with different types of asexual reproduction. What are different types of asexual reproduction? First is spore formation in fungi. In biological classification, when we are reading about fungi, mostly the questions from fungi are put on asking about sexual spores and asexual spores. You have to be clear on 4 classes of fungi. What are they? Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Deuteromycetes. Or the 4 classes, what are the asexual spores and sexual spores involved. So, here first is what? Spore formation in fungi. Spores are released from the structures like conidiophores or sporangiospores. I am speaking about asexual spores. Conidiophores or sporangiospores. Whether they are released inside the sac or towards the environment, based on that we will be having endogenously released spores, exogenously released spores. Here fungi multiply and they spread easily due to millions of asexual spores they produce. These are quite resistant structures. Okay. They are quite resistant structures and they do not damage easily. Next, if you see budding in yeast, how budding occurs? Yeast is unicellular organism, right? From the unicellular organism, let us suppose this is the parent bud. Over the parent bud, the daughter buds will grow, and after the limited growth, they will detach from the parental bud, fall on the suitable substratum, grow into a new individual. This is known as budding. Budding occurs in yeast. Spore formation occurs in fungi. Name few asexual spores: sporangiospores, conidia, okay, zoospores. Fine, right? These are few asexual spores. Few asexual spores include zoospores, conidia, sporangiospores. Amongst this, the only exogenously released asexual spore is conidia. Rest all are what? Endogenously released. Understood, beta? Here you see new individuals form from the outgrowths or buds, the bodies of the mature organism. Examples for budding include yeast and hydra. Next is regeneration of flatworms. Okay, any lost part or any lost segment from its body will be regenerated back. Regeneration is different from fragmentation. Okay, fragmentation means what, ma? From the main body, any part which is fragmented can give rise to the entire organism. Like that, the fragment is giving out the new organism. In regeneration, what is the difference? For example, if planaria is considered, okay, let us remove the head region, tail region and abdomen region. Okay, the head region can regenerate the entire body, tail region also can regenerate the entire body. Okay, here there is no point on multiplication of the organisms, but fragmentation, fragment is multiplying into different organisms. Regeneration is regenerating the lost part on the individual. Understood? Okay, that is the difference between fragmentation and regeneration. Here you see fragmented parts of organisms regenerate the lost part of their body, that becomes into a new organism. Next is binary fission in bacteria. Binary fission is also addressed as amitosis. We have learnt this in cell biology, right? Why it is also known as amitosis? Because there is no involvement of spindle fibers or spindle apparatus. The cytokinesis and karyokinesis will happen like this. Okay, just by having a furrow in between the nucleoid and the cytoplasm, a furrow forms and the cells divide into two. So, there is no involvement of spindle fibers. Such division is known as what? Amitosis. Most common form of reproduction in prokaryotes and a few unicellular eukaryotes. Examples include bacteria and amoeba. So, from the characteristic and defining features of living, many at times you got match the following type of question, both in EAPCET and NEET, only on types of reproduction, highlighting type of reproduction and examples. You should know what is spore formation, budding, binary fission, regeneration, fragmentation and the examples. Understood ma? Examples are important. Spore formation you will see in where? Fungi. Different types of asexual spores include? Budding occurs in yeast and hydra. Binary fission? Got it? Next. So, here you see different modes of asexual reproduction. Asexual spores are seen in fungi. Budding is occurring in yeast and hydra. Regeneration, planaria and flatworms. Fragmentation seen in fungi. Filamentous algae like what? Spirogyra and Cladophora. These are what? Eulothrix. These are filamentous algae. And protonema of mosses. What is this protonema of mosses? Primary gametophytic structure which you see in bryophytes. Protonema of mosses is what ma? Primary gametophytic structure of bryophytes. Filamentous algae, take down the examples like Eulothrix, Spirogyra, Cladophora. This is the example of spore formation. Okay. This is how the spores are released. Example of conidia, which is exogenously released. Okay. Spores are released like this in fungi. This is the example of hydra, that is budding. Okay. And this is the example of regeneration, planaria. Got it ma everybody? You are clear on growth and reproduction, right? Next. So, before going to metabolism, you should know what is metabolism actually. Metabolism you will see in living cells only. Okay. So, this is what defining feature of living. What is metabolism? In a single cell, you tell me what if a living cell attains equilibrium? What if a living cell attains equilibrium? You will address it as a dead cell. Okay. Dead cell, no reaction. Okay. It has come to saturation or equilibrium. A living cell will perform chemical reactions all the time, which means something or the other molecule will be synthesized, something or the other molecule will be breakdown and the energy is produced. So, this is a continuous process. This process keeps the cell living. Got it ma? Like what is synthesis of the material? Known as anabolism. Smaller molecules will take the energy and it will build up into larger molecules, which is known as anabolism. Best example or the process you can say is photosynthesis, which is an anabolic process. Catabolism is what? Breakdown of the large complex molecules into smaller molecules and releasing out the energy. It is releasing out the energy. This is known as what beta? Catabolism, which is breakdown of food during digestion. Anabolism and catabolism. Example is respiration. Clear, right? So this keeps the cell living. So this is known as what? Living cell. Sum total of all reactions occurring inside a living organism in a coordinated manner is known as metabolism. This occurs both in unicellular and multicellular organisms. Non-living objects do not perform any metabolic processes. Now you see few differences between reproduction and metabolism. Why reproduction is known as characteristic feature of living. You can see many infertile couples, but they are still living. Worker bees, mule, which is the offspring of what? Horse and donkey, which is sterile but still living. Hence, reproduction is not differentiated character between living and non-living things. Whereas metabolism, if you see, it differentiates. It does not occur in non-living objects, it occurs only in living cells. So, this is what? A living feature. Next is cellular organization. Apart from content, listen, what is cellular organization? In cell biology, we have learned cell is the only unit, primary unit, which is both structurally and functionally independent. Let me recall you. If you see an atom, single atom will pile up into a molecule. Okay, molecules will pile up forming some cell organelles. Okay, different cell organelles will group up to form a cell. Atom has no identity until it forms a molecule. Molecules have no identity until it forms an organelle. Group of organelles into a cell and their coordinated function is making the cell a unit, making it structurally independent and functionally independent. So, this is the smallest and primary unit which is both structurally and functionally independent. As such, group of cells will form what? Group of cells will form tissue. How can you define the property of a tissue? By the interactions in between cells. All the chemical reactions in between the cells will define the property of a tissue. All the reactions that happen inside a tissue will define the property of an organism or an organ. This is known as cellular organization. Cellular organization you see in unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms as well. Understood, ma? Next, consciousness. This is the state where a living cell responds. Consciousness means what? Responding to external stimuli. Okay. One example I can tell you is sense organs that are present in animals. Photoperiodism, that is responding to sunlight. Based on that we have short day plants, long day plants, day neutral plants. Okay. That will decide the flowering time. Okay. The duration of sunlight is deciding what? Flowering time, which is photoperiodism. So, all cells, be it prokaryotic and eukaryotic, will respond to what? External factors. For example, folding of leaves in touch-me-not plant, which is Mimosa pudica. Okay. This is also a response to external stimuli, that is touch. Consciousness is therefore defining feature of living. Next is self-consciousness, that you know, which is only for human beings. Okay. But I don't know how many of you have. You can't even sit 2 minutes closing your eyes. How self-conscious you are, you have to check. Okay. Which is nothing but being aware of ourselves. That is self-consciousness. Okay. So, now when we have done with one concept of the chapter 1, which is characteristic and defining features of living, 2 features are characteristic features. What are they? 3 are defining features. What are they? Metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness. Self-consciousness is applicable to only human beings. Now, diversity of living world. These statistics are little important for you. Take down. The number of species that are known and described ranges are included around 1.7 to 1.8 million species. 1.2 million animals are there. Amongst that, which is the largest group? Insects form the largest group. 0.5 million plants are there. Amongst that, what is the largest group of plants? Angiosperms. 15,000 new species are discovered every year. Maximum biodiversity is found in tropical rainforests and coral reefs. Take down this one is already there in your text. These 3 points, enough. Which is the largest group amongst animals, largest group amongst the plants, and where do you find the maximum biodiversity? What is biodiversity? Can anybody tell in simple terms? What is biodiversity? Diversity means what? Different amount of organisms. Bio means life. Different forms of life, if you see in a certain place, that is known as biodiversity. As such, maximum amount of different life forms are seen where? In tropical rainforests and in coral reefs. Coral reefs are present deep inside the marine regions. Coral reef itself is a separate domain in life sciences. Studying about coral reefs or researching on the coral reefs. Done? Next is done or not? Make it fast, only 3 sentences, no? So, before going to the next concept, I would like to tell you the clear differentiation between classification, taxonomy, systematics. First, you have to know what are those terms in clear way. Okay, classification is nothing but beta, if you are categorizing different living organisms, okay, into the different categories they belong to. Okay, classifying the organisms or grouping up the organisms into different categories is known as what? Classification. Grouping up different living organisms into different categories is known as classification. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy includes the procedure from characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. See, what are the steps it is following? I will tell you. See, characterization means you will identify what is that organism, whether it is a donkey or horse or a dog or a cat, you will identify first. After characterizing, you will clearly identify to which animal group it belongs to. Okay. After identifying, you will classify that organism. Same features, which group is having, you will classify there. You will classify it into a category. Okay. After putting it into a category, you will name it. You will name it using standard international codes that are given. Okay. Like for example, if it is a botanical, if it is a plant, you will follow ICBN. If it is an animal, you will follow ICZN, like that. Nomenclature comes at last. So, what are the criteria you are considering? First you will characterize it, what type of living organism, then you will identify, and then you will place it into a separate category, and then you will name it. This set of rules or this set of steps comes under what? Taxonomy. In simple terms, I will tell you what is systematic C. Along with these procedures, if you are also including the evolutionary relationships or phylogenetic relationships, if they are also considered to group the organism into a category, if the phylogenetic relationships or evolutionary relationships are also considered to classify the organism, then you will call it as what? Systematics. So, along with all this uses what? Phylogenetic relationships. Phylogenetic also addressed as what ma? Evolutionary relationships. This is on the simple note, okay. Now you read any statement or any paragraphs regarding this, it will be easy for you. You will easily understand that. Classification, you take down a single statement. Okay, you will group different organisms into categories. These categories are known as, after characterizing, identifying, you will classify them into categories, right? This categories is also known as a taxon or a rank. Taxon or category is one and the same. How different taxons are placed? That you will learn it in your what? Rank. Like that you have 7 obligate categories. How many? 7 obligate categories. What are the 7 obligate categories, ma? Very good. First is kingdom. Second, phylum or division. Phylum you will use it for animal kingdom, division you will use it for plant kingdom. Then is class, then is order, fifth is family, genus, and 7 is species. These are the 7 obligate categories. Okay, the smallest category is species, largest category is kingdom. Okay, apart from these 7 obligate categories, you have to remember 2 more which may be asked sometimes. In between gene and family, you have this sub-level category that is known as tribe. Okay, in between order and class, you have a sub-level which is known as cohort. The complete picture of classification, taxonomy, systematics, 7 obligate categories is known, no? Okay. Once if you are done with noting down, just tell me. I will give you a single minute of recap and we will move on. Sit straight, have some water. Done? So, see, what is classification? Grouping into different categories. What is taxonomy? It starts from the procedure of characterization, identification, classification, nomenclature. Okay. This classification is categorizing. Okay, how you will categorize into 7 obligate categories. So those are addressed as either taxon or category or rank. What is the rank of the kingdom? 1. What is the rank of species? 7. Rank of order? 4. Like that. Okay. Those are addressed as taxon, category or rank. As such, you have 7 obligate categories. Apart from this 7, you have to remember 2 more. One is tribe, which is in between genus and family. Other is cohort, in between order and class. Clear, Noma? Next is systematics. Along with this, if you are also including the evolutionary relationships to classify the organism, then you will address that phenomena as what? Systematics. For nomenclature, what is the standard method you are using? Binomial nomenclature. Which is proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. Look at here. So this story you already know. We have around 1.7 to 1.8 million species, and this is how we will classify. First by what? Binomial nomenclature proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. Where did he propose this? In 2 works, and he has published 2 books. One is on Species Plantarum, which is proposed in the year 1753. Another is Systema Naturae, which is proposed in 1758. Systema Naturae using binomial nomenclature system is found. How many organisms were named? 4,400 animal species, 7,700 plant species were named. What are the rules involved? Okay. So first name is what, ma? Generic name, which starts with a capital letter. Second name is addressed as what? Specific epithet, which starts with small letter. When they are printed, they should be printed in italics. When they are written, they should be underlined separately. Okay. These are the rules mainly. They are generally in what form? Latin. They are derived from Latin. So we have to print it in italics to denote their Latin origin. Okay. First word you know genus, second is specific epithet, printing and written forms you have understood. What are the major uses? You will have single scientific name beyond the all local names. Okay. Local names are also known as what? Vernacular names. That is the major use. Description of any organism enables people to arrive at the same name wherever they are, whoever they are. Ensures that a name has not been used for more than one known organism. Okay. Every organism will have a specific name used the same in any part of the world. Understood? Simple rules, no? Next. One more rule which is not described here, that is the major rule, which is known as principles of priority. Principles of priority. Okay. What is principles of priority? In simple terms, understand. For example, I am there. Your name is? Nikita is there. 2 of us identified same plant. We have named it differently. But I am the first person who has reported and documented. Later she has reported on the same plant. Principles of priority says that whoever is documenting it first, whoever is reporting and documenting it first, will be given the title of that name. Fine, right? Now, when 2 people are going and giving the same name, whose name is prioritized first? Who is giving first? Their name is prioritized. That is principles of priority. And when you are writing it, genus and species should be underlined separately, and beside that, the scientist name who has proposed should be written in Roman, abbreviated form. Okay, like this. See, when 4 options are given with 4 different names, with 4 different styles, you will get confused. As it is printed, na, it should be in italics form. Len, which is abbreviated, should be in the Roman. This should be in italics. That is how you have to identify the option. Understood, ma? When it is handwritten, you have to underline it separately. That's it. Got it, na? Principles of priority understood, everyone? These codes are very important. Codes for nomenclature. First is ICBN, which is International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Next is ICZN, which is International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. ICVN, International Code of Viral Nomenclature. ICNCP, International Code of Nomenclature for Cultivated Plants. ICNB, International Code of Nomenclature for Bacteria. Take down. These abbreviations important. You know only ICBN and ICZN, right? Viral nomenclature for cultivated plants for bacteria is also important. Make it fast. Then next is taxonomy. What all is given? We have already learnt this. Next, characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature. These are the 4 major steps we will see. In characterization, what are described? Morphological and other characters like anatomical, embryological characters are described in characterization. In identification, you will determine the similarities with already known organisms. Then only you will identify what type of organism it is. Classification, placing them into a particular category or taxa. Nomenclature, giving a specific name under the norms of binomial nomenclature. Systematics is also derived from Latin. Systematics is derived from Latin word, that is systema. Okay, and this is the study of evolutionary relationships among the organisms. Now taxonomic categories. Taxonomic categories are also known as Linnean hierarchy or taxonomic hierarchy. Who proposed taxonomic categories? Linnaeus again. A single taxon. For example, let me take this kingdom. This is a single taxon, right? A single taxon or a category will represent the rank of the taxon. A taxon is a group of organisms and a category represents what? Rank of that particular taxon. Okay, the rank of kingdom will be 1. First kingdom, if you see, highest category. In which there are common fundamental characteristics, yes or no? All the characteristics are common for that particular kingdom. If you look for example Animalia. Animalia are what, ma? Multicellular organisms, all are heterotrophic and all will have eukaryotic cells. This is proposed by whom? R.H. Whitaker. And then other kingdoms which are also accepted today include what? Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Kingdom Animalia includes all this set of organisms. Kingdom Plantae includes multicellular, autotrophic, eukaryotic organisms. Fungi includes organ level, multicellular organ level of organization, purely heterotrophic organisms. Protista includes all the unicellular eukaryotes with different modes of nutrition. Monera includes all the unicellular prokaryotic organisms. As such, how many kingdoms are proposed? 5 by R.H. Whittaker. This is what we learn in biological classification in the beginning, and we will learn about each kingdom in detail. Okay. Next category after kingdom is what ma? Phylum. Phylum is used for animals. Division is used for plants. So here phylum includes group of closely related classes. Class is the next category, right? Next category of phylum. So it includes all the group of related classes. For example, the organisms share basic body plan are the major structural features. Phylum includes what? Chordata. Chordata includes all the animals which is having notochord. For example, vertebrates. All vertebrates are placed under chordata. Angiosperms include all the flowering plants. Division angiosperm include all the flowering plants. If you take kingdom Plantae, kingdom Plantae has two divisions. It has two divisions. One is angiosperms. Second division is gymnosperms. It has 5 divisions, sorry. Five divisions. Angiosperms, gymnosperms, pteridophytes, which are the first vascular cryptogams, bryophytes, thallophytes, those are algae. 5 divisions. Amongst this, what is the primitive division? Algae is the primitive division. What is the advanced division? Angiosperm is the advanced division. Okay. So, this phylum or division angiosperm is the advanced class, and this includes all the flowering plants. Okay. Next class, if you see, class Mammalia, all members of in a single class, what do they share? All members in a single class, they share common attributes like mode of nutrition, body structure, reproduction. In every category you have to remember what are the features that are sharing amongst that particular category. If you see the kingdom includes all the common features, basic common features which are present by all the organisms in that specific kingdom. Next, if you see phylum or division, chordata includes those organisms with notochord. Angiosperms include all the flowering plants. Likewise, in class, in this taxon, what are all sharing ma? All members share common attributes like mode of nutrition, body structure, reproduction. Examples are important. Class Mammalia, which is under the phylum Chordata, is characterized by what? Milk production, hair and warm-bloodedness. Angiosperms has two classes, dicotyledonnae and monocotyledonnae. Two classes under angiosperms. Dicotyledonnae has two cotyledons. It has reticulate venation and taproot system. Understood everyone? Clear, no? Should I repeat anywhere? Next is order. Order includes group of related families. It includes group of related families. Criteria includes what ma? Nature of reproductive organs, arrangement of flowers, mode of nutrition. These are the criteria which are involved. For example, order primates will include humans, monkeys and apes. Order Rosales. Order Rosales include rose, mulberry and fig families. Next is family. It includes a group of closely related genera. It has structural similarities in more. Mostly it has what? Structural similarities. Families often share reproductive features, vegetative traits, DNA markers. Simple example I will tell you. In morphology you have come across different families. In each family what are you learning? First about vegetative characters of that family, then about floral characters. Floral characters are nothing but what? Reproductive characters. So a single family will share what? Vegetative features and reproductive features. Family Hominidae includes humans and great apes. Family Fabaceae or Leguminosae. This includes pulses like pea, gram and soya beans. Genus. Genus includes closely related species. Genus include closely related species. This shows common ancestry, means all species, all genus will have same ancestor, different types of genus. All genus which are under same family, a single gene will have what? Common ancestor. And they have what? Morphological similarity. First part of binomial name. Genus is the first part of binomial name. For example, Homo. It has different species like Homo sapiens, Homo erectus. Solanum you see, it includes Solanum tuberosum, that is potato, Solanum melongena, that is brinjal. Next is species, which is the lowest unit of classification. This includes group of organisms which are interbreeding and producing fertile offsprings. This is dealt under what concept of speciation? Biological concept of species. Biological concept of species proposed by whom? Ernst Mayr. How did he define species? Species are group of organisms which can interbreed and produce fertile offsprings. This is denoted by the second part of the binomial nomenclature. Members will share common genetic makeup, behavior and they share common habitat also, that is niche. Okay. Examples include Homo sapiens, which are modern humans, Mangifera indica mango, Panthera leo lion. This is about all the 7 taxonomic categories. Done. In all the 7 taxonomic categories, what you have to remember? What are the common characters that are being shared? Okay. And what are the examples? For example, simple thing I will tell you. Under the kingdom Planta you have 5 divisions. Under angiosperm division you have 2 classes. How they are placed? Everywhere I have given. What are the common characters that are being shared? That is important. Okay. And then if you observe it clearly, can you see the amount of common characteristics which are shared by organisms are increasing as you increase the taxon level. That is, if you travel from species to kingdom, the level of common characteristics shared amongst organisms in a specific taxon are increasing. So, common characteristics increase with the level of taxon. And specific characteristics like species, a set of species will have a set of morphological characters. Specific characteristics will be decreased, common characters will be increased. Understood? Clear? Clear with taxonomic categories? Next. To remember it more efficiently, I have provided a table. If you remember this one table, it is enough. And you have to remember the common characters shared. In each taxon, the common characters shared and these tables, 2 tables I have provided. If these are in your mind, you can answer any question from taxonomic categories. This is what ma species level. Species, genus, family, order, class, division, kingdom. This is for what? Kingdom Plantae. First, you see Animalia has 9 phylum, Kingdom Plantae has 5 divisions. What are they? Angiosperms, okay. Angiosperms I have considered in the division level. It has how many classes? 2 classes, monocots and dicots. Monocots, I have given you 2 orders. There are many orders under monocotyledonous class. I have provided you 2 orders which are given in your text. Those are what ma? Liliales and poales. Orders end with what suffix? Ales. Orders end with the suffix ales. Under Liliales, what family is there? Liliaceae. Under poales, what family is there? Poaceae. One thing you have to remember with Kingdom Plantae. Families include group of related genera which share common vegetative characters and floral or reproductive characters. Yes or no? Order includes group of related families which share only common reproductive characters. This share both vegetative and floral or reproductive characters. This share only reproductive characters. Liliales will have the family Liliaceae, poales, Poaceae. Genera, different genera under Liliaceae have taken allium. Genera has different species like Allium cepa, Allium sativum. Next under Poaceae, Triticum which is wheat, okay. Genus under this is Aestivum, Triticum Aestivum. Clear ma? From monocotyledonous class. Monocotyledonous, Liliales, Poales. Liliales family, Liliaceae, Poales family, Poaceae. Here, what is the suffix that is included? Ac. Genus, under Liliaceae, Allium, under Poaceae genus is Triticum. Allium species, Allium cepa, Allium sativum. Triticum, Aestivum. Clear? Next is dicot class, dicotyledons. The orders that are included are Sapindales and Polymoniales. Sapindales include the family Anacardiaceae. Polymoniales includes the family Solanaceae and Convolvulaceae. Solanaceae includes the genera Petunia and Datura, and Solanum also. Solanum includes 3 genera, Solanum melongena, Solanum tuberosa, Solanum nigra. Clear? Everybody? Understood? Now you can remember easily, no? Take down. Quickly you take down. After this we will learn about Animalia also, same chart. Now, can take if you have running notes. This chart you have. Done? Now, Animalia. This is species, genus or genera, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. Yeah. Kingdom Animalia has how many phyla? 9 phyla, of which 2 phyla are given here, that is Chordata and Arthropoda. Under Chordata I have taken one class Mammalia, and under Arthropoda I have taken one class, that is Insecta, which is the major group of animal kingdom. Mammalia order Carnivora and Primata. Under Carnivora 2 families, Canidae and Felidae. Canidae includes what? Canis genera. We have 3 different species under Canis here: Canis familiaris, Canis lupus, Canis aureus. Felidae includes the genera Panthera, 3 different genera: Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus. Primata includes the family Hominidae, Homo sapiens. Diptera, under this order we have the family Muscidae, genera, musca, domestica. Got it, ma? From taxonomic categories, you have to be clear on what are the common characteristics shared at each category and these two tables, enough. It will take 5 to 10 minutes for your revision for complete taxonomy and taxonomic categories. 10 minutes for identifying, defining and characteristic features, statements from that. Done? Make it little fast, ma. You are left over with taxonomic aids. Done? This is the table which is already included in the two charts which I have given. Now, taxonomic aids. Why taxonomic aids are needed and why are they useful? Okay. They are nothing but they will help you to, taxonomic aids will help you to identify, classify, name and preserve different organisms. Okay. Based on those you will classify different organisms. It will help in all these processes, in identification, classifying, naming and preserving the organism. So that is the reason taxonomic aid will stand as a backbone of both taxonomy and systematics. They are also helpful, taxonomic aids are also helpful in identifying the evolutionary relationships. As likewise you have different taxonomic aids. One is herbarium, botanical gardens, museums, zoological parks, flora, manuals, monograph, catalogs. Okay. Herbarium, you know, what is herbarium for? To collect and store or preserve the plant specimens. Okay. You will collect a plant specimen in such a way that it includes the leaf, stem and a flower part. Okay. So it includes vegetative characters as well, floral characters as well. A herbarium is carefully maintained by what plant specimens? How they have to be dried, pressed, mounted on the sheets. What are the labelings that you are mentioning on the herbarium is important. They will give you 4 options. One of them will be missing out. You have to identify that. See, the date of collection is mandatory. Exact place of collection, English or the common name of the plant, local or vernacular name, botanical name, that is the scientific name of the plant, family which it belongs to, collector's name. Okay. If you want an added notes, you can add on the habitat, habit, field observations. But these are the mandatory prerequisites where you have to mention on a herbarium sheet. What is that? Date of collection, place of collection, common name and scientific name, family, collector's name. Okay. Next. Famous herbaria you have to keep it in mind. Royal Botanical Garden, Central National Herbarium, Missouri Botanical Garden Herbarium, New York Botanical Garden as well. These are different botanical gardens and herbaria. Next. Firstly, you tell me botanical gardens and zoological parks come under in situ conservation or ex situ conservation? Ex situ conservation. Zoological parks and botanical gardens. There you are preserving a live plants or plant specimens. Live plants you will be preserving. In herbarium, those are specimens. Here in botanical gardens, live plants. So these are living specimens to study. Above each plant species you will place or tag the family to which it belongs to. Okay. This is a center for what? Ex situ conservation. Botanical gardens will maintain rare, endangered and economically important plant species. What are the prominent botanical gardens? These are given here, see. Royal Botanical Garden, National Botanical Research Institute, Indian Botanical Garden, Lloyd Botanical Garden. Next is museums. Like how herbariums will store the plant specimens, museums, animal specimens. How they are collected? Variety of plant and animals, skeletons, fossils, shells, corals and other specimens are placed. 2 methods of preservations you will see in museum. One is wet preservation, other is dry preservation. Wet preservations you will preserve it in the jars adding what chemicals? Formalin. Dry preservation, insects will be mounted and pinned in the boxes. Okay. Skeletal preservation for large animals, mounted specimens for displaying them on the museum. Popular museum, that is National Museum of Natural History, which is located in New Delhi. Next is zoological parks, which is also an ex situ conservation. Significance, this and all not required. Examples of that enough. Flora, manuals, monograph, catalog. You should be clear on what each type of taxonomic aid is. Flora includes what, ma? This is nothing but a book which includes all the plant species of a specific area. In one specific area you take, what all the different plant species are present in that area are mentioned under the flora. Manual provides complete lists and descriptions of species found in a region. For example, in Telangana region, okay, what are the different lists and descriptions of species that are present, that is observed in manual. Monograph, mono means single. This gives complete information about a single taxon, be it any taxon, genus, family, phylum, any taxon. Next is catalog. Catalog is alphabetically arranged list of species in an area. If I take any specific area, Narayanguda, let us take this specific area, how many number of species are present? That is given in what? In a specific area, flora, let us assume, okay. But the complete list based on the alphabetical order is given in what? Catalog, okay. This we can expect in match the following type of question in your EAPCET, not in NEET, okay, according to the new syllabus. This is the complete information about taxonomic aids. We have learnt about herbaria, botanical gardens, zoological parks, museums and flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. From biological classification, that is next chapter. If I have to give you the key takeaways of the smallest chapter, that is living world, first is defining and characteristic features of living. In that, what you have to stress out more? Types of reproduction, asexual reproduction with examples. You have to majorly focus on the statements that are given for defining and characteristic features. Second is taxonomic categories, clear differentiation between classification, taxonomy and nomenclature. Done ma? And then you have to know about those two tables which I have given. In each category, what is the common set of categories shared, okay, followed by taxonomic aids. That's it. For complete revision of living world, it should not be more than half an hour. 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes for defining characteristic features, 10 minutes for taxonomic categories, 10 minutes for taxonomic aids. That's all, okay. And then biological classification. In biological classification, what are the contents you have to focus? First is kingdom systems of classification. Kingdom systems of classification. In kingdom systems of classification, you will learn on 2 kingdom, 3 kingdom, 4 kingdom, 5 kingdom and 6 kingdom system of classification. Amongst these different kingdom systems, 5 kingdom system of classification is widely accepted, which is proposed by and those 5 kingdoms include Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, these are the 5 kingdoms, okay. You will learn in detail about each kingdom and further classifications in the each kingdom, okay, followed by the kingdoms or the group of organisms which are not included in 5 kingdom system of classification. Those includes what? Virus, viroids, prions, lichens. These are not included in 5 kingdom system of classification. That's it. There ends the chapter. Okay. In biological classification, beginning you will learn about kingdom systems of classification. Amongst that, widely accepted is 5 kingdom. You will learn clearly about each kingdom in detail, and at last those organisms which are not included in 5 kingdom system of classification. This is the framework of this chapter. Let's begin with the kingdom systems of classification. First kingdom is, first scientific method of classification is proposed by whom? Aristotle. He has grouped different organisms based on the presence or absence of RBC. First thing, he has classified into plants and animals, into Plantae and Animalia. Plants, based on their height, they are classified into trees, herbs, shrubs. Animals, based on the presence or absence of RBC. Anemia, anemia. Next, two kingdom system of classification proposed by, very good. He has considered many criteria to classify it into two kingdoms. And what are the two kingdoms he has proposed? Plantae and Animalia. What are the criteria that he has considered for classifying them into two kingdoms? There are many criteria, be it cell wall, locomotion, response to external stimuli, okay, mode of nutrition. These are different criteria that are chosen for two kingdom system of classification. But amongst them, what is the criteria which is chosen maximum? The widely chosen criteria is cell wall. Cell wall is the major criteria. Apart from cell wall, there are many other criteria like what? Locomotion, response to external stimuli, mode of nutrition. Okay, these are the other criteria. But amongst all them, which is the major criteria? Cell wall is the major criteria. So all the organisms, be it prokaryotic, eukaryotic, unicellular, multicellular, autotrophic, heterotrophic, if at all they are having cell wall, they are placed under Plantae. So now you tell me, bacteria, does it have cell wall? Bacteria, does it have cell wall? Yes. What is the cell wall composition in bacteria? Peptidoglycan. So bacteria is placed under, in two kingdom system of classification, bacteria placed under algae, Plantae. Next is algae, next is fungi, and then higher plants. All these have what? Cell wall. So they are placed in the same kingdom, that is Plantae. But there is so much of controversy on two kingdom system of classification, because he has grouped unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. He has grouped prokaryotes and eukaryotes. He has grouped autotrophic organisms and heterotrophic organisms. These are the major drawbacks of what? Two kingdom system of classification. Whereas in Animalia, if you see again, protozoans, which doesn't have cell wall, are placed under Animalia. One more example I can give you, higher animals, those unicellular organisms which doesn't have cell wall are placed under what? Animalia. Mycoplasma, okay. So what are the major drawbacks, ma? Two kingdom system of classification, major drawbacks. Unicellular organisms placed along with multicellular organisms, prokaryotes placed along with Autotrophs placed along with done. Next, three kingdom system of classification is given by Ernst Haeckel. What is the new kingdom that he has introduced? Plantae is already there. Plantae, Animalia already there. Protista is the new kingdom he has introduced. He has included in three kingdom system of classification all unicellular organisms. Into Protista. Next, but unicellular organisms are both prokaryotic and eukaryotic. But here he has placed both prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms. There has come four kingdom system of classification, which is proposed by Copeland. Where how many kingdoms are there? Plantae, Protista is also there, Animalia. The new kingdom he has introduced is Monera, which included all unicellular prokaryotes. Done. Next is five kingdom system of classification proposed by R.H. Whittaker. The new kingdom he has introduced is kingdom fungi. About the major aspects of five kingdom system of classification and sixth kingdom we will look tomorrow. Okay? Till here you note down enough. Done all? Yes. Take down slowly, no problem.